Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and we're going to channel these collective energies today, guys. The energies are intense. How is everybody doing after that full moon in Virgo yesterday? I do apologize. I really wanted to jump on and channel the full moon energies, and it just didn't work out. I just didn't get a chance to jump on. I had some clients booked yesterday, and there was a lot of unexpected mini towers that came through. I had another huge tower this morning, and so I know there's a lot of emotional vulnerability is what I want to say in the energies right now collectively. And so what I kept hearing this morning was mass exodus. So there was a while back, I'm going to say about a year ago or so, I channeled this energy called mass exodus. And so I feel like we're at this pivot point when it comes to the split between 3D and 5D, and so the split. And so in dream space last night, I was dreaming of crossing the Red Sea. So very interesting. And so that goes all the way back to Moses from the Old Testament. And so the parting of the Red Sea is like this energy, this metaphor, this symbolism for, I feel like, a miraculous parting. So I feel there's been like a parting of the ways when it comes to the false twin flame relationships with that Virgo full moon. I also feel this metaphor of like universal support. The second we commit to our path, to our karmic purpose, that is the second the universe supports us, and miraculously the blocks can be lifted, right? So I feel when it comes to the false twin flame relationships, it's very difficult to remain in a state of harmony right now. I feel there's a lot of emotional coldness coming from the divine masculine towards the karmic because of the feelings of guilt and fear. And I feel like this overburdened feeling of responsibility. So we had the moon in Virgo early this morning, quincunx Saturn in Pisces. And so the Virgo Pisces axis is what we're kind of dealing with right now, right? And so it does deal with emotional, spiritual needs and day-to-day securities, right? And so I do feel there's been like this recent ending or breakup, which is creating even more collective feelings of emotional vulnerability as well. And so there's a big imbalance right now. I feel that we kind of need to work on developing within these energies, within our personal life, and our professional life when it comes to our emotional needs and the needs of others. I feel like this ending is surrounding a lack of intimacy, right? And so often we'll go into relationships very much unconsciously, right? Until we're fully awake and aware, and you know, the twin flame journey will make you aware of all of these patterns and inconsistencies and emotional insecurities within relationships, right? And so I feel there's this underlying frustration going on right now. I don't even know where I was going with that. There's this lack of intimacy in this relationship. It's like it coming hot and heavy and it just like poof, you know, and then we get stuck in these relationships, right? And then we get to a point where there's a lack of intimacy, we lack emotional support, and then we're stuck in this endless cycle of sadness and not getting our needs met. And this leads to more low self-confidence and self-esteem issues and more codependency issues, right? Because we're afraid of loss, of feeling that grief, of that ending. And so there's a lot of overburdened energies coming up when it comes to heavy responsibilities. I feel there's a lot of distrust being exposed, especially when it comes to being overly emotional or unemotional, right? The extremes of the two. And so I also feel like I was going over the past and all of my failed relationships because Saturn is in my 7th house. My Saturn is in Virgo. My moon is in Virgo. And so Saturn and my moon are both in my 7th house of one-on-one relationships, which is also Virgo. So I've got like this Virgo stellium in my 7th house. And so I've already been in the process of the last several years with Saturn in Aquarius of bearing the past, because Saturn was hitting my 12th house of karma and bearing the past. And so I'm ready for this shift, right? And so all of this Virgo energy in my 7th house, it is all about relationships, right? Looking back on the past and how I distrusted my gut feelings, right? And and looking back at how my own twin flame journey kind of spiraled the way that it did. And so I've been sitting with a lot of emotions the last couple of days. Not anything like overburdened by any means, but full moons are for purging. And so purging the ending, I feel, any endings, right? I also feel there was this layer of grief coming up when it comes to the loss of a loved one. For me, it was my grandmother. Maybe for you, it was a grandmother, a grandfather, or a parent. But I feel somewhere along the line, you know, we lost a sense of self on the journey, right? And that's what this is about. It's about coming home to self. And so when people get overly upset emotionally, or they lack self-control with their emotions, I do feel this usually is out of character for a lot of people, right? And so a lot of us play into some very negative behaviors when our emotions are hard to handle, right? When we can't regulate these very strong emotions coming up. And so it's like this emotional volcano energy is what I'm feeling. And the energies coming up to be addressed are all going to be like dependent on the emotional support that you received as a child earlier on in your life. Because if you have solid roots from childhood, then you usually don't go through the traumatic experiences like somebody that didn't have that support. And so where have you lacked emotional support? Because in essence, we have to become our biggest support. We have to be committed to ourselves. We have to have those deep roots. The energy of roots was coming up very strong. And so I know a lot of us on the journey, we get to a point where we hit that bottoming out with our emotions. We become very suspicious of people's motives around us when we become aware of a lot of things that we didn't know before, right? And then also after the awakening process, it's very difficult for many of us to become intimate with another because of the frequency gap. And so I feel there's a lot of energies coming up asking us to release fear. I know for myself, it's been a long several years on the journey of feeling like I just don't belong anywhere, right? And that's when you go through these periods of isolation and alienation in order to restore that sense of faith again, right? Where have you lacked that faith in the journey? And so there's a lot of increased emotional sensitivity right now. So you're going to want to protect your energies. A lot of bad energy can be absorbed very easily right now from other people, which can make you more likely to be deceived or taken advantage of. I feel feelings right now, energies right now are just feeling very strange and confusing. And so the Virgo Pisces energy, like the Pisces is this chaotic energy, is this vastness, this oneness, this all-pervasive Piscean ocean of oneness, right? Where we're basically stripped of our personal identity, where we become one with everything, right? And I remember that feeling with my Pisces ascendant, the one with everything. And so the Pisces energy, like a big part of me is I feel my way through the world, right? With my Pisces rising. And I can get very mushy and very emotional, very watery energy. And so my Virgo moon and my Virgo 7th house with Saturn and Virgo in my 7th house, this allows me to bring a sense of order to all of this Piscean dreamlike energy, right? I also have my little one, she's a Virgo moon and a Virgo north node, so she helps keep me grounded so I don't float off and not come back down from space. And so the Virgo helps us navigate through the Piscean ocean of change. And so there's a lot of change coming forward. Change is inevitable. And so we've been feeling it in the air. We can feel it. It's coming. The change is going to come. Change is coming right now, right? And so we're about to enter into a brand new astrological year. A brand new cycle in our lives is about to begin with the Aries full moon. And so I feel this full moon in Virgo brought forward a volcanic eruption. And I did definitely erupt this morning, that's for sure, with some issues that I had to deal with, some very silly issues. And we've been feeling this in the air. And so the volcano eruption creates the mass exodus. And the volcano erupting is just highlighting the importance of releasing the old, right? Because we can't bring in the new, harboring all of this below the surface. So I feel this energy of everything, 100%, everything must be released to make space for the new. Anything that is not in alignment with your karmic pathway is leaving your life, I feel, before the Aries new moon. And so we got to make space. And if you haven't made space, then this change is not going to be easy, right? And so change happens when we start from a 0 point, a 0 state, zeroing out the karma, right? And so I feel where the masculine collective is at right now is something has definitely blown out of proportion to the magnitude of a volcano erupting, is what I'm feeling. And so it is the old burning down to ashes in order to rise like the phoenix right now. And so I feel a lot of the masculines have no idea where the heck they're going right now. They're at rock bottom. They're kind of bottoming out. They've avoided this change up until now. And now I just feel like they've got a one-way ticket to embrace this change no matter what, right? There's no going back. And so there's either, oh, the light just flicked. So there is no going back. And so I do feel there's been some massive change or an epiphany to show the masculine where he's been stuck in this same karmic pattern over and over again to bring forward that moment of clarity. And so this is the truth. This is reality. Breaking free from the illusion. It's like decision time. And so I feel the masculine has made a decision to no longer walk the path of the false twin flame of the karmic energy. And so I feel there's been like a mass exodus in the divine masculine's life. And now he has to cross the threshold to the promised land with the feminine, or like the metaphorical Piscean sea, right? To reach the promised land of the divine feminine. And so I had to really sit, right? As a woman that's gone through a lot of trauma in my life, I've gone through a lot of trauma. And so I find the more trauma I've been through, the more masculine I become within my energy because I haven't had a choice, right? I've only ever somehow manifested very feminine men in my life. And so it makes it hard to be in my feminine energy when I'm dealing with a feminine man. And so if men want a feminine woman, they need to be masculine men, right? And so usually it starts off where you're in your feminine energy in these relationships, and then you have to step into your masculine energy because these men are looking for a mommy to take care of them. You know, there's somebody to take care of them. And in essence, this is the distortion. A true masculine, to be a true divine masculine, it means you are the provider. You are the protector of the feminine to take away her stress so she can create. And you can take that stress off of her plate instead of adding to it, right? And so another thing too, to be a true man in your divine masculine energy, you should never ever make your woman or your feminine question what the heck you're doing behind her back. If you're doing something shady, you are not coming from a place of pure spiritual ethics, right? And so women need to feel safe within relationships. We need to feel protected. And I feel men need to start offering more than just sex is what I want to say. And so I really sat with this huge release on the full moon. And what I come to this conclusion is, I absolutely will forever and always love my divine masculine, but I don't want him back anymore. It won't be the same. I don't want him back. I'm not the same person I was anymore, right? And I look back, so much has happened. So much has happened. So much karma has played out. Heavy, heavy karma. So much has happened. The pain was so deep, and there was never, ever any acknowledgement of the pain or anything on this journey by my divine counterpart. And so no, I don't want him back. But at the same time, what I've had to sit with is, why do I still find myself attached to the idea of who I thought this man was, or the idea of what spirit showed me, all that we were meant to be together? Because I did love this man, and I do still very much love this man, and I don't know why I can't seem to let this go, right? And so what I do know that I want, though, I do want to manifest a partner who can acknowledge how bad they hurt me and not minimize the hurt, take accountability, and make the changes necessary to correct those actions, right? And so I guess there's some tough lessons we go through, and I guess, I don't know for sure, maybe this was a false twin flame, I can't say. So I kind of wanted to talk about what my guides channeled through me when it comes to a false twin flame, because I do believe, yes, we do have false flame relationships along the way in order for our spirituality to fully awaken. And so when we go through these false flames, one is the empath, one is spiritually awakened, and one is like a victim, right? Oh, poor pitiful me. So like a false narcissist flame. And so we usually meet a false twin flame on purpose. It's not by chance, it's on purpose. They show up because the energies are a frequency match to prepare you. You've called this person in to be a teacher because you're not ready for the real thing yet, right? And usually these false relationships are very much emotionally painful, right? But it is to catalyze a transformation. And so it's like a counterfeit flame. And so it doesn't minimize the connection either, though. It's still a soulmate. It's like a preparatory catalyst soulmate who loves you unconditionally enough to appear in your life as a twin flame to prepare you for your true twin flame, right? And so it's like a catalyst experience. But these experiences, we can't minimize them because they are very much extremely important to our evolution as a soul, to clearing past karma, to the twin flame journey. And it's all dependent on how evolved you already are, how ascended you already are. If, many of us came here to be ascended masters. We're already ascended masters. And so twin flames are extremely evolved and ascended. And so, but our human existence, we can make mistakes, right? And we can mistaken a false twin flame for a true twin flame because the similarities are uncanny, and this is almost unavoidable on part of the journey. I feel it's almost like a necessary aspect, because if you meet your twin and you go into separation, it's because you weren't ready, right? And you had some more work to do. And so twins go through separation to be engrossed in all of these devilish, addictive attachments to clear them, because the true twin flame path is pure, right? And so we go through these important catalytic soulmate relationships as well in order to get the job done, so to speak, so we can be prepared for this ultimate love, right? And so a false twin flame will have a lot of engrossment, enmeshment, devilish, addictive attachments. It's a catalyst, right? And there is a deep, deep connection from within, though, because there is a past life connection there, and they do mimic a twin flame very, very closely. So it can really distort your sense of your world, and it can become quite confusing in those relationships because it is so intense. But it does mirror a toxic relationship. And so a lot of the twins, we do go through many toxic relationship cycles. And this is a part of our twin flame journey, right? To understand narcissistic people, how they use people, to understand how to have empathic boundaries. And so we go through many false toxic karmic attachments within relationships, and they can be like hell, right? It's almost basically like a karmic attachment from hell, right? With a false twin flame. It's very dark. It's very karmic. It's extremely, incredibly hard to walk away from this type of relationship as well. It brings into your life shock. It upheaves everything, right? But it's like you meet this person initially and you just quickly fall in love. But it's like you're dealing with an energy vampire, right? And then what happens is a lot of these karmics emotionally feed on the masculine's empathy, manipulating them, and then creating an empath victim, right? And so there's a lot of codependency in these false relationships. It throws us further from our path to love, and it brings us into like this spiraling deep pit of pain in order for a catalytic awakening, pretty much, right? And so because at the core, I think so many of us, all we really want is just to be loved, deeply loved, right? On a subconscious level. And so unconsciously too, we go into these negative relationships and it doesn't feel right. We don't know why. And then it becomes a blame game. And then it's hard to get out of these, right? It's hard to get out of these because you've ignored the red flags and the signs for so long. You rarely get out of them as quickly as you get into them, right? And so these are false relationships, and every twin flame journey is different. There's not always going to be that aspect, but I do want to say, like, you know, when you're with your true twin flame is what I want to say. Your true twin flame will never ever hurt you. They will build you up. They will want to see you at your best, and a false twin flame will hurt you in ways that you didn't even know possible. And you might not see it at first, right? Because gaslighting takes a while to come out of, and so the real twin will mirror the false twin too. They'll be very similar. So for my own journey, I ran a home daycare. I ran a home daycare. I worked with kids. The false flame, she worked at a daycare. There was a lot of almost like she wanted to be me. I got a German Shepherd puppy. I remember at the very beginning of the journey, and she got a puppy shortly after I got a puppy. And if you actually are following that Selena, Haley, Justin drama, this is exactly a reflection of my twin flame journey and what's kind of gone on. I was friends with this Karmic. She wanted to be me. She huge difference. Actually, when I look at her, I can see the pain in her eyes. I know she wants to be loved. She actually reminds me of my unevolved self when I was younger, when I was dealing with weight issues and eating issues to mask my pain and stuff. And so I can see her pain in the journey for her as well, right? And so to come from a place of non-judgment, to try and understand her perspective is kind of where I'm at now, and I've come a long way, right? And so they mirror a lot of similarities, right? Which can make it very confusing. So for my journey, yes, I didn't know who I was dealing with either at first. I was confused between the real twin and the false twin, between, the karmic catalyst and the real twin. It took me a long time to figure that out, back and forth, and it was an awful place to be in, to not know. And that's where I had to choose me and commit to me, right? And so I feel a lot of the masculines are being taught some valuable lessons about themselves. This is something they've been bound to from a past life contract. And so there's going to be a lot of past life issues coming up that have been deeply buried and repressed in order for this awakening, right? And so there's a huge distinction, though, between a false twin and a real twin. A true twin will teach you how to help others. A true twin will teach you how to step into your mission. A false twin is there to teach you how to heal yourself. And so there's a lot of things I feel being exposed when it comes to false flames, challenges arising in the energies. A real, true divine connection, you feel at ease and relaxed from the very beginning of the relationship. And that's the energy I think I missed the most, was the energy of just like time stood still. I could sit in the presence of this person, and it was the first time I felt like my soul could finally rest. I remember I was always so tired. I wanted to sleep when I was around him because my soul finally felt safe enough to rest after being in survival mode my entire life. And so, but I had to go back to the false twin because I was confused, because I was so used to the unhealthy patterns and the uncertainty and the blame and the power struggles. Something safe and real scared the shit out of me, and I'm sure it did the same for my counterpart. And so we usually go into one more karmic cycle to clear the doubt, to clear the uncertainty. And so I do feel this energy that we're sitting in collectively is a major warning, because ultimately it is a journey of self, right? Every single twin flame journey is going to be different, right? Mine isn't going to be exactly the same as yours, although I found a few divine feminines where we've got almost an uncanny, very similar journey, but not quite exactly the same. Because we all decided certain soul lessons we came here to learn. We all have our own karma to clear. There's not one single twin flame journey that is the same. And so I think the journey really is about truly seeing into your relationship with yourself, so you can heal any issues that deflect love from your life, right? And so we all can hold up a mirror to another person to help them see the truth of themselves. But the twin flame journey is the ultimate truth. And it will bring you to a place of knowing exactly who you are. And so with the false twin flame, there are still the synchronicities. There still could be telepathy because the twin flame telepathy with the true counterpart can be interfered with these karmic energies, with these negative energies. And so a real twin flame connection, you'll see the syncs when you're together too, right? I don't want to get too much into this because I didn't really mean to go this far, but when you're in a false spiritual or twin flame relationship, you're going to always feel like you're stuck in a rut. Like you're stuck in a rut. And your intuition is going to be screaming at you that something is off, but you ignore it. And you feel awkward and you feel uncomfortable. And it's like you find difficulty in having those conversations too, right? If you find yourself trying to take charge, like, oh, I've got that clarity, I'm trying to take charge, you're going to find that other person trying to manipulate you or threaten you not to leave. And so, and they might manipulate it coming from a place of love. They'll be controlling, but trying to come from a place of love, which could be over giving, right? And so it can be very tricky when you're under the veil of illusion within a false twin flame relationship. But basically, you're never going to really feel stable in a false twin flame relationship. And so we need to remember there are many, many types of energy vampires along the journey. They're, you know, the darker energies do not want to see the twins come together because we are so very powerful. And there's a lot of people that hold on to subconscious desires that are energy vampires that don't even realize that they are energy vampires, right? There's a lot of people that drain us and they have no conscious awareness of what they are doing. And so we need to be aware on our journey of this too, right? Because there can be telepathy coming through a form of manipulation or deceit, or the karmic can be receiving telepathy from the feminine to the masculine and intervene and then use that as that mask to pretend to be the divine feminine. And so I feel subconsciously right now, all of this is coming to light. There's a lot of damage being done in the energies, I feel. A lot of these karmic relationships, they do so much damage in our lives. They get us to that rock bottom in order to get, I feel us to access our true thoughts and our true feelings, right? So they're on our journey to basically push our buttons, rip us open, because that's what they're there to do. They're there to cause the most amount of harm possible in order to wake us up. And so these relationships are very intense. It's like on again, off again, an intense breakup, back together, great sex, intense breakup. And so that's the running and the chasing. That is not healthy. Okay, so a true twin flame relationship, there is an energetic pushing and pulling. But I ain't going around running and chasing after anybody. Heck to the no. And so a dark twin flame will be like that, very challenging. And so I do know breakups can vary, but it's a lot of back and forth. The breakups can be very explosive, because these darker entities are there to magnify the remnants of these toxic relationships, right? And so, and they will do anything to get you to throw away your real twin flame journey. They will do anything to convince you that you're throwing away the real deal, and then you're going to spiral right back into that same cycle. And so there are major differences for sure. And so a true twin flame connection, although it can become a little bit toxic and triggering, it will never ever make you feel awkward. It will never ever lead to a very explosive, chaotic breakup. So let's jump in with some cards and see what else needs to come through today. I guess we're going to do a twin flame reading. I wasn't expecting to do that, but let's use the past life deck. I think we're going to pull from the past life deck today to see what comes through first. 29 minutes. Authority, figures, trust, and faith. So there is a lot of, I'm going to say karma playing out, right? That's that Libra energy. Actually, the moon is in Libra right now. So have that trust, have that faith, like I talked about, because there's a lot of, I feel like, verdicts coming in, like that final decision. I feel like the divine is like, enough is enough, is kind of what I'm feeling in the energies. So let's see what needs to come through with the past life deck for the collective. So this is not sign specific, guys. We'll see what needs to come through. I'm going to try and keep it general collective at this point in time. We do get the mother energy, and so a mother wound coming up for sure. There definitely could be a sense of grief when it comes to a crossed over mother figure, whether it's like an aunt or a grandma, somebody that was like a mother to you is coming through in the energies. Oh, geez, coming through in the energies, yeah. So angels, we get the angels and we get the ships. So I do feel there's a lot of angelic protection surrounding the collective right now. There is definitely a mother figure on the other side that is somebody's guardian angel. I feel with the ship's energy, I feel like this is somebody saying your blessings are on the way. So when we learn that very painful Saturn lesson, that Aquarian Saturn lesson, right? We get a blessing, right? So there could be a blessing coming, right? And so ships are about to arrive. You've manifested something. It's coming. It's coming. Trust and faith. You've got like a grandmother or a mother on the other side that is saying it's coming. And this is the moment in time where I feel we improve our love life. I like that. I didn't even realize. Look at the rest of the deck flipped out in reverse. I don't even know how that happened. This is about relationships, our love life, releasing fears is what I'm feeling. So fears of fully giving your heart away too, right? It can be very scary to give your heart away. I also feel somebody has prayed for a reunion here of some sort, and maybe somebody's mother figure on the other side. Like this is feeling like the temperance angel bringing two people together. Two people destined to come together. So you're going to have to face your fears. You're going to have to release your fears. And we got a high priestess here. We could have a high priest and a high priestess. We get the travel. So I always feel ascension energy. It's kind of time to write that new story is what I'm feeling. So I do feel a spiritual connection here, a very biblical connection. It's funny I mentioned the Bible earlier, and so there is definitely, this is a twin flame reading. There is a twin soul connection here where I feel is coming together. Somebody is getting ready to come towards this connection, and I feel you're just being asked to go within. When I had my awakening back in, well, it would have been 2019, around this time. It was during the double full moon in Libra in March, I believe it was. And that's exactly how I was during that full moon. I stood like that under the full moon, my whole body activated, vibrating, downloading codes. I didn't know what the heck was going on, but there I was. And so we're being asked to be open to receiving. And so I feel the birth of something new. This could even mean the two of you are supposed to come together and conceptualize a child through this divine union. But this could just represent, the birth of a new cycle. I do feel somebody traveling towards a twin flame connection here is being divinely guided by a mother figure. And so I feel if you're the feminine here, if you're this high priestess, you, like the way I put the card, if you can see it, I put it like this. So receive, this is coming. And so you're just being asked to release all fears. This connection is biblical. This is a part of your mission. This is your flame. This was written. This is ordained. And I just feel it's kind of time for this now. I also feel a lot of higher kundalini energy, ascension energy. So let's, oh my goodness, let's grab some starseed messages. And so we are here to seed the light. We get the Star Brothers energy. So protection. This is about a true divine masculine protects is loyal, brings safety towards the feminine, is trustworthy. And we are here to see the light of these new grounded foundations. And so I do feel a union is coming together of some sort here. Empathic starseed, and I talked about that energetic sovereignty, right? And so stop absorbing what's not yours, because we as empaths, we absorb a lot of negative collective energy. There's a lot that gets mirrored back to us that is not ours to carry. And so I just feel this longing for home and the void. So it's kind of time to just embrace that 0 point. The void is the 0 point. The 0 point is the place of all creation, right? It is the balancing, the nullifying of the karma. And so this is where we need to release these very toxic codependent cycles, because I do feel the masculine is having a hard time with boundaries. Somebody here is having a hard time with boundaries and codependencies. And so a lot of this unconscious energy of these patterns is being brought to the conscious light right now, so we can see the potential of all of this newness. And so where do you need to release a codependent situation? There's a lot of inner child wounding coming up. There's that bottomless Piscean ocean of emotion. So going back to a state of innocence within a connection. And I do feel that both of you do have rare gifts. So somebody here and this connection has recently bottomed out, rock bottom, and they are surrendering to the alchemy of this journey. Praying. I just heard praying. So let's grab some tarot and see what else needs to come through. Just breathe, change your focus. There's that 5 of Cups, and there's that healing, death. Mirror, mirror, right? A lot of self-reflection. And so changing your focus, we're at the pivot point of shifting how we regulate our emotions and how we deal with our emotions. A lot of emotions, a lot of emotions. So we're going to get the current energy of the collective right now. New vitality. Love it. Kind of like rainbow blessings. We get moving on. Third eye chakra and strengthening bonds. So there was a recent walking away. Somebody, I feel, recently came into their third eye psychic gifts, likely the masculine, and was shown it's time to walk away. So leaving the past behind, the emotional baggage behind, walking the spiritual journey, heading towards wish fulfillment. Is that the Ace of Pentacles? And the Ace of Wands. So strengthening bonds, new vitality, manifesting these new earth contracts, right? So there's passion, there's stability, but this is where the collective's at, and I've got like a huge stabbing pain in my heart. So the sadness and the loss, we got to leave the past behind. So we do still have to grieve the ending of these false relationships, right? The sadness and the loss, and that's where they were sacral chakra relationships. They were rooted in lower energy cycles, right? The lower chakras, the lower energy, the 3D aspects, right? And now we're moving into the heart. And to move into the heart, we do have to go into sadness, isolation, 3 of Swords. This is painful. Endings hurt. There is no way around the pain. An ending will hurt. But it is through the isolation that we can transmute that bottoming out into spiritual enlightenment and wisdom. And then we can take that wisdom and we can be gifted a golden opportunity to bring forward our creative strength to build something new, our own heaven on earth. And so we're releasing the distorted contracts, and we are preparing to come together. And that's what I talked about. We're releasing that. We're coming together to becoming one through the heart. The twins are always connected through the heart. The heart wants what it wants. The heart knows the truth. And so I feel a heart chakra activation to embrace these relationship cycles coming to a close. That's kind of what I'm feeling. So let's see what a surprise from the universe might be. Ooh, releasing control. I love it. Trust, balance. I'm just going to leave it at that. Surprise from the universe. Surprise, surprise. We got all universe cards. We got all major arcana. And so we got this one in reverse. We're releasing control. Something coming back around. You're going to need to have that faith, trust. There's a leap of faith being taken. This is two becoming one, balancing. This is the temperance, karmic freedom. There we are, two becoming one, these highly evolved spiritual beings, and we are moving towards commitment. So Cancer energy, Chariot, two becoming one, solidifying these unions that we've been dancing in the ethers for many years now, and solidifying this in our physical reality. So I do feel the masculine is preparing to speak up. He's been daydreaming. Daydreaming definitely about this connection, and he knows it's decision time to bring forward that offer, to speak up, right, with the Ace of Cups. So I feel this is where we're at. Like that is very uncomfortable. So this is where we're at, confronting our deepest, darkest fears, confronting our shadows, confronting our self-worth issues, where we've been overly judgmental of ourselves or critical of ourselves, or played the victim card, and confronting those shadows and releasing them to walk through the doorway of this new experience. So we're preparing for union. We're preparing for joy and stability, the Four of Wands. We are stepping into embracing, closing this out once and for all. This is like spiritual enlightenment, accomplishment. The world is changing. We are moving to heart-centered energy. That is 5D, heart-centered compassion. And we are putting in our dedicated effort to our purpose, to our path. And spirit will part the Red Sea. But you got to choose to put in that dedicated effort, right? And so I feel this is where we're at, win or lose. He's coming in. Win or lose, he's got to come in and get that truth off of his chest. There's some heartfelt truth coming forward. Win or lose, we got a divine masculine being beckoned to open up, to share his love. So we got a masculine here getting ready to, I feel he's going to do whatever it takes. I don't think losing is an option for him. And he very well, we could have a masculine here that very well could have a father figure on the other side, encouraging him to go after some truth, to open up. I feel somebody is being haunted by the past. An opportunity is now beckoning to open up and share the love. So there is a lot of cups here. There is a lot of love here. You're going to have to face that inner beast, that inner dragon, that inner demon, right? The devil. Do you control your addictions, or do your addictions control you, right? So addressing these addictive patterns before things get worse. But I do feel an offer is coming. There is an offer coming. There is a masculine confronting his fears. And he is preparing to come in, I feel, for some big, big love. And that's what I got. Was not expecting that today. Wow. I hope this helped, guys. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading with me, check out the description box below. And I have not forgotten about the rest of the zodiac signs. I'm hoping to get a few more done today, but I'm not counting on it. But keep an eye. I will get those out over the next couple days. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.